This is BFBS Esports Live with OJ Borge.
The voiceover man is not wrong. I am indeed OJ Borge. Welcome along to Esports on BFBS. I'm here alongside my now usual co-host. He is the salt to my pepper. This is terrible. I was going to try and think of a gaming version of this. He is really horrendous. I know it is. He is the controller to my headset. He is the left stick to my right stick. He is the trigger. This is getting worse by the second. Hello to Jonah Jupp, combat medical technician and founder and CEO of Skull Esports. Mate, how are you?
Not bad, OJ. I mean, that was painful.
It was painful. Can you think of a better one off the cuff? A gaming version. Come on.
The entry to my
the entry to my frag. That's even worse. What you're listening to, if you've not caught us here on one of these shows yet, it is your home of anything and everything to do with gaming and esports within the armed forces. So what the teams have been up to, who's been doing what, latest results, and also talking about why playing esports and computer games is escapism and the communication and the keeping in touch with friends and family when you're around the world. Now, one of the things we're doing for the season is the War Room. Every Tuesday night, 6:30, we're hosting a gaming lobby, which we'd love you to be part of. What is the game this week in the lobby and how do people join, Jonah?
Yeah, so we're playing Party Animals again for the second week running. The lobby is BFBS Esports Live and the password is 2258. So if anyone wants to join in, then feel free at this time and let's have some fun.
Take it away. I love the fact that we're running our own gaming lobby while we're doing this. Also, tonight we have a guest. We're talking to Sergeant Simon Foggy Moore from the Royal Artillery. You call him what, Jonah? Not Foggy. You call him the what?
I mean, in the realms of Army Esports, he's only known as the Fog Dog.
The Fog Dog.
He's shaking his head.
Only you can call me.
Oh, he's here already. Get back out. We've not introduced you yet, Fog Dog.
Come on, go away.
Back in the kennel. I've worked on this, Jonah. You ready for this?
Yes,
Jonah is the Ratchet to my Clank, the Mario to my Princess Peach. He is the Rage to my Quit.
Some of them are horrendous. But
they're all horrendous. They're all horrendous. They're all horrendous.
Proud of you.
We had a little peek from into the lobby a little bit earlier. So let's introduce our guest, a man that you do know, Jonah. He is a friend of the show. It is Sergeant Simon Foggy Moore from the Royal Artillery. Would you like to be called Simon, Foggy, or Fog Dog?
I'll let you call me whatever you want to call me, within reason.
Jonah, what are we going for?
We'll call him Foggy.
All right, then. Fog Dog. Glad to have you. So talk to me then, Foggy. What is the core esports manager for the Royal Artillery? What does that involve?
So my role as core esports manager for the Royal Artillery is pretty much the point of contact for the entire corps to do anything esports related. So whether that be organising stuff with other corps, or whether that be the point of contact for the British Army Esports League, it'd be basically the person that organises, runs, and any sort of competitions that run in between that, including any sort of competitions we run as a corps as well. We are planning on running one this year, but unfortunately we haven't been able to do that. So we're going to push that forward to next year, looking around May, June time, hopefully.
Foggy, that sounds like a lot of work.
It's not that much. Not really.
Because your vibe, your love, I think if I remember rightly from the last time we chatted, last season or the season before, is sim racing. Yes,
that is predominantly my game of choice. I do a lot of other games, but that's predominantly the one I do.
If you do look, I've always looked at esports, and I think if you do, the one that's the closest to its actual sport counterpart is possibly sim racing. I mean, they are so entwined together.
Yes, they are very, very much. I mean, we talked about it previously on one of the other shows, was that with sim racing, you can pretty much get as real as you can, apart from being on track. You can go from force feedback, which allows from understeer to oversteer. When you're going into corners at certain speeds, if you don't go in at the right angle, it really affects the dynamics of the car, especially with cars like F1 or in GT3 or GT4, where aerodynamics is pretty much key. The setup of the car is paramount, and you can really feel that with inside the steering wheel.
And there are a ton of F1 drivers. I'm thinking of Lando Norris, who are big in the sim world as well, aren't they?
Yeah. So Lando Norris is a very big esports star, as well as a massive. Obviously, he's doing exceptionally well in the F1 season this year with McLaren, along with Oscar Piastri. Another big streamer per se, who's very much into the world of esports, minor streamer, but very big, Max Verstappen, Huge.
Oh, is he? I didn't realise that.
Yeah, he does a lot of iRacing. He's dabbled a little bit in Assetto Corsa, but mostly iRacing. That's mostly his scene.
There's people. It's translatable both ways, though, right? Like people go from sim racing to F1 as well.
Oscar Piastri's one of them. Lando Norris is a big name in the whole F1 series and the world. And he originally started from computer games. There's a lot of F1 and F2 stars that have started within the realms of esports and pushed themselves forward into the realms of F1 and also the GT series as well.
Well, there's a film about it now. If you watch GT Academy, then I actually worked on part of that originally when Jan Mardenborough came from being a kid who was the son of a footballer living in Cardiff, went all the way through to racing in some of the biggest races on the planet, including Le Mans. So it is the closest you can get between a sport and an esport.
Yes, it is so much that and more. Plus, you can also have some fun whilst you're at it as well.
Yeah. So when will you be quitting the army to go be a pro racing driver, Foggy?
Once I get enough money. It's a very expensive sport to get into, unless you have the backing of a lot of potential sponsors, partners, and other people there who are able to identify that. Now, esports is obviously a great way to get into that. And I mean, I'm quite an old bloke.
You're not that old, Foggy. Come on.
Hang on, Foggy. Go on, tell me what an old bloke is, because you're about to make me feel about 1,000 years old.
OJ's about.
Yeah, oh, well, this is true. Okay, so I'm 38 years old.
Oh my God, you're so old, Foggy. I can't believe it. I'm only 23 and a half.
I feel old. Anyways, as 38 is quite old in the world of racing, especially when you're trying to go into the worlds of like F1. You'll never get there at 38 starting off. You need to start through karting or through this is a direction you can go. And even Lewis Hamilton is making the approach into F1 a lot easier by using other avenues other than going through karting.
Yeah.
So
it is just expensive, isn't it? That's the whole point. If you can do it via a game, a sim rig is not cheap, but it's cheaper than a car. Foggy, you all right to stay with us?
Yes.
Let's talk rigs, Foggy. Let's talk rigs. I know this is something Jonah's very excited about. When we talk about a sim racing rig, what are we talking about? How close to an actual frame of a car? Because some of them are wild.
Yeah, so that all depends on how big your pockets are. The rig I've got is a very standard one. It is literally just a racing seat. It's a play seat, actually, Playseat Evolution, which is roughly around 300 quid. But then it's the actual steering wheel peripherals themselves. I mean, the rig I've got is about £1,000, give or take, about £1,000, just for the steering wheel, pedals, the base, all that sort of stuff. You can get cheaper ones, but if you really want to get the real like feel of it all, and you get a good rig, they can range anywhere from the basic of one like £2,000 all the way up to £7,000, £8,000.
The sky's the limit. Sky is the limit.
How do we get the army to buy you one, Foggy? Can we not get them to buy you one for essential esports business?
Probably not.
Okay, I thought it was worth asking. How much sim racing have you done, Jonah?
Little to none. I mean, I was at Rapture last year. I don't know if Foggy was there. I can't remember now.
No,
but yeah, I mean, I jumped on the sim rig there, and a couple of times at a few insomnias that the Army Esports have had on their stand. Yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, it is like driving a normal car, but it's just weird. I don't know. Just the sensation of having that feedback when you're playing something through a monitor. I don't know. In my head was really bizarre. But I know there's some really good people, especially at Insomnia. We had people come over. We did a time trial little thing that we were running to win a prize, and there's people over there like crazy good at the game, who obviously had a lot of practice. But me, none. I'm hopeless. Anything with a steering wheel.
Yeah, I agree. I come from an era where driving games where you put your foot down. I mean, I've never really played with a steering wheel and an actual pedal. I've always done it with controllers, where you went as quickly as you could, and then you got around the corner by ramming into the barriers and letting the barriers take you around the corners. That's my background to it.
That's called cheating.
That is called cheating. It's also when you try the new VR rigs and the rest of it. Do you race with a VR headset, Foggy?
I do. I actually run with a Quest 2 at the moment through a link cable. Quite a good VR headset. There are way better ones than what I have. HTC Vive, the Oculus 3, which is due to come out very soon. Yeah, there's so many different VR headsets you can use, including there's versions now where you can actually not even have a steering wheel in front of you. You can actually use the wheel in the car by using augmented reality. But that's something that's been developed, but it doesn't give you the same feel.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, with my rig that I have, it's a full force feedback with what we call a butt kicker, which sits underneath the base of the seat, which gives the vibration of you going up and down over bumps and stuff. It basically allows you to feel you feel like you're on the track. You feel like you're actually racing on the track, not physically there, but you feel like you're as close as you can get. And you really, especially if they've been laser guided as well, so they actually laser up the tracks and they check it all out and like measure out the exact distances and the divots. They test it all. So if you go for a bump, you'll actually feel it, and you're like, "Oh, okay, there's a bump there. I can't go there anymore," and you'll find another place to go over.
Do you know? I wasn't into the idea of sim racing until you said the word butt kicker, and now this whole thing seems way more appeals to me way more. I don't know why.
It can get expensive.
Yeah. What's the longest race you've done? I know there's some crazy races that go around sim racing where people are racing for 24 hours.
So yeah, I have done a 24-hour race with a team of 3. That was at the Le Mans 24. We were running in LMP1s. We didn't do that well. We only came 7th out of 22 drivers.
How's that not good? That's pretty good. That's top end.
No, but when you're a racing driver, you always strive to win. 7th is not good. I mean, it's good for a team that is not really classed. Like, we're not at the professional level yet. We're more of the semi-professional level, but we're getting there. And we come 7th out of 22. So that's not too bad. That's 22 different teams and 22 different cars. So we did really well there. Middle ground. But that's the longest race I've done, 24 hours with a team of 3.
That sounds absolutely brutal, and you would need to be wearing very good pants for it. Foggy, mate, thank you so much for joining. It's been great having you on to talk about sim racing and everything that's going on with Army Esports. So thank you so much, buddy. You mentioned that at Raptor you tried one of those rigs. They are hard work, especially with the VR helmet going with it, aren't they?
100%, yeah. I mean, it's just confusing. I mean, I've never driven an F1 car, obviously. So the closest thing to it, I was still terrible at. So.
Yeah, I remember trying to accelerate, thinking, I'm just going to put my foot down here and like wheel spinning it in 5th gear as I attempted it. And talking of Foggy, to do those to do any race in Formula One, the amount of concentration you need is wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and especially for 24 hours.
I know.
I mean, obviously they swapped out drivers here and there, but that's a long time to have that much focus. I mean, I could barely do a game of Valorant without, dozing off at the end.
Mate, I can't do a 30-minute radio show. Believe me, I struggle with concentration that long. Come on, Jonah. Last quick question before we wrap up the show. Greatest racing game of all time. What's the greatest racing game that you've enjoyed?
Oh, Forza. It's just got to be Forza. I mean,
never played it.
It's just. You know how to play Forza?
No, I don't really like driving games.
Under shoebox.
Yeah, no, I've just never really dug driving games. There was one called Power Slide, which was on the Amiga like a billion years ago, which the last Amiga I owned was probably before you were born, which dates me massively.
Yeah, definitely the Space Force. We're definitely going to provide the smoke for them today, and we're definitely taking our trophy home.